The views and opinions expressed by the host and our guest does not state or reflect Ramona personally or the Life Designing with Ramona Rogers podcast. This podcast takes a glimpse into the lives of women that, despite their life's obstacles and challenges, they have knocked down barriers and are succeeding in their chosen careers and in their life. Welcome, and I am here today with Dr. Sanja Rickette-Stinson. This is Doctor. You got so many titles. Tell us a little bit about yourself, who you are, where you come from.
Well, welcome, and thank you, Ramona Rogers, for having me on your show. It is a pleasure. I have grown to love you as we met maybe about a year, maybe a little over a year ago now. And I am Dr. Sanja Rickette-Stinson, known as Dr. Sanja. I am an author. I'm a business coach. I'm a speaker, and I'm a nonprofit founding CEO. And my passion is to help women over 40 build their confidence that propels a legacy. I am passionate about helping women. And women began to realize that you have a legacy. As Ramona often said, we have a lot of resources in the grave, and we need to not allow those resources to continue to grow. So I love helping women. I love helping others who are less fortunate. So my nonprofit works with individuals who are homeless, and my mantra is that homelessness is just an experience that individuals are going through, and it is not the label that designs them. I believe that it's time for women to be lifted up and to be empowered. You know, we have been through an unprecedented time, and if COVID-19 has not taught us anything, is that life is short. And so it is time for us to get back in the steering wheel and press that gas pedal and take the limits off of our life.
Wonderful. So what is, growing up, did you know that entrepreneurship was going to be your lane that you operated in?
Well, to be honest with you, Ramona, in my family, the majority of my family are entrepreneurs. My father and mother started a restaurant. My father migrated him from Meridian, Mississippi, became homeless, lived under the railroad track, lived in the famous Pacific Garden. And he migrated here because he had a large family at that time, and he wanted to be able to feed his family. He's having a friend here. He came here with no money in his pocket. And he began to start restaurant businesses. One was with his partner. I remember so vividly. It was called G&G Restaurant, and his partner, George. And from there, he went on to begin Uncle Remus Chicken, which is now managed and owned by my baby sister. And my father, who is now 95, will be 96 this year, we hope, is still very active in the business. So as far as the question is knowing that I was an entrepreneur, yes, I believe that it was something that was put in my spirit. But I knew for a fact that I did not want a restaurant, because at the age of 12, we were put to work. And I knew, as much as I love chicken, as much as I love my family business, I knew that chicken was not something I was going to be in. So I started off on the quest of several businesses, several that failed. And I'm proudly, at one time I wouldn't talk about that, but I do openly talk about that, because it threw me in an abyss. It threw me in a loop where I sat in the background for so many years. So I knew, but nothing would settle me until I became an entrepreneur. So I'm an entrepreneur, both in the nonprofit, in my own business, Dr. Sanja Stinson, coaching and consultant. I am a visionary to heart. And it took me years to begin to really talk about that. Because, you know, if you grew up like me, you didn't talk about it because you were bragging. But I don't think it's bragging now. I think it's celebrating yourself so that you can help others know that they can do it.
Wow. And that's, that leads me to just what this podcast is created for. It's called Life Designing. Mm-hmm. And you took it upon yourself to start designing life. Tell me a little bit about that journey of when you start figuring it out and maneuvering a little bit.
Well, and like I said, I've had several failed businesses, and so I've been up and down, up and down. I would believe that, when we started, Matthew House was a nonprofit in 1994. That was maybe the peak, but it wasn't the peak that really had me to thrust me into where I believe God has me right now. So 1994, when we started the nonprofit, me and 3 African-American men, we struggled for years and years and years. Before that, I was an insurance agent. I had my own insurance company. I had my own trucking company and management. I was a teacher of underwriting. So I had many businesses for years before that, but not having any guidance, not having any true mentorship. Not that my family didn't support, but they didn't understand the spectrum of the businesses that I wanted to go in. So I failed at those. And again, I said I went into an abyss or an elude and stayed in the background because, we were taught that failure, you fail. But I had to come out of that around maybe 2014, 15, when I began to really design my own success. Okay. I believe that we can design our own success. And I had to become what I now call a disruptor. I had to really learn how to disrupt the status quo and disrupt and begin to mold my own life and mold my own success. I hope that answers your question.
It does, because you said to start designing your own life. So would you say that the things that you went through happened? What happened to you? The failures, you had some wins in there, I'm sure, here and there, but failure seemed to be a part of it. But you decided and took it upon yourself to say, this is not who I am and what I'm going to do. Let me start putting some things together to get the result I want. And if nothing else, that is the statement that you made is the one that I want people to really hear, is that you took it upon yourself to start designing your life and doing the things that allowed you to do that. And then you said you started becoming a disruptor. Now, keeping that word in mind, you just became an Amazon bestseller with that word and that title. Can you tell us about that journey?
Ramona, and I tell everyone that I talk to about that journey, it was 8 months that the Holy Spirit, the Lord, I'm spiritual, gave me the title. And I sat on it because I felt that I wasn't good enough to do an anthology project. I felt that, no, I don't have the talent. I don't have the ability. I don't have the people. I began to have self-doubt and self-sabotage what the Holy Spirit had given me. And I had spoken with my baby sister, and I said, here's the title of an anthology project that I'm going to do, but I don't know when. And as I began to move forward to do it, I tried to change the word and change the title. And what happened is that I just made a decision to dismantle some fears, dismantle some disbeliefs about who I was, and really get out of my own way. And so, yes, in March of this year, 2022, we just released, with Ramona being one of the co-authors, a best-selling Amazon 3 buttons, as they called it. We were not only bestsellers, we were number 1 new release, and we were number 1 in soft copies sold. And the title of this book is called Disrupting the Status Quo, Entrepreneur Women Crushing Mediocrity and Maximizing Their Potential. That was all I want to do. We have to maximize our potential. And everybody's potential is different, but you do have the potential. I think about God's word that everybody has been given a talent, and you have to have a vision to move forward.
So this is not your first best-selling project. You are a serial entrepreneur as well as an author of, I lost count. How many books?
I think I had 2. I think it's 4 books now. I am an author with Envision Possibilities with the famous Les Brown and Dr. Cheryl Woods. I'm also an author with Trailblazers 2 with Karen Cherry. Of course, we just published our Disrupting the Status Quo. And before that, I wrote Vision Unleashed, like I said, 9, because I am really concerned about vision and bringing vision forward. And my very first anthology project was with my women's group, Women on the Front Line, and it's called Hidden Impact. Again, when I think about me writing now, I think about the many years that educators told me that I would never write, that I would never be anything, because I make it very known I had a speech impediment, and still sometimes it affects me now where I can't say a word. I can see a word and it will not come out of my mouth. And I had been told many, many years that you would not amount to anything. Definitely you would not be a writer, even to that of my graduate doctoral degree. One of my writing professors, or the one that was in charge of our dissertation, says, well, we can give you an administrative certificate and not a degree. I had spent 3 years in that particular course, and I was on I would call the last leg, and I just saw it out and said, the devil is a lie, excuse me. I said, you will give me my degree. So I saw coaching, and I'm going to say this to your listeners. Coaching and mentorship is the key to when you are owning your own success. When I say own your own success, get some coaching, get some mentoring, and also connect with other like-minded individuals who want to go where you're going or who are where you want to go. Don't be afraid to invest in you and invest in your dreams. In this last 18 months to maybe 24 months, I have invested heavily in where I want to see myself in the next 3 to 5 years.
Wow. And, my next question was, what advice would you give? But that was the advice that you just said, the advice you would give. And so if I'm hearing you right, you're like saying, if you really want this thing in life that's called success, make sure you get around the right people.
Yes.
Get some coaching, get some mentoring to help you learn what you need to learn. So how did you go about finding those people or those individuals?
Let's look at coaching. Coaching is totally different from mentoring, because mentoring sometimes will be where someone's mentoring you, and oftentimes, sometimes mentoring you pay for, and sometimes you don't. But coaching is futurist. And what I mean by that is a coach is hired to take you to the future or to move your vision forward. Whereas often coaching is where mentoring is where you're with a group or you're with a person that gives you encouragement and empowers you to move on. So understand that there's a difference between a coach and a mentor. Coaching, you're going to get ready, you're going to pay for. If you're going to hire a coach, you get ready to pay for. But it's futurist. That coach should not be with you all the time. That coach should be where you are designing a plan and a purpose. I'm writing a piece right now that you must become the architect of your vision. And becoming that architect, you must get back in the car, get back behind the steering wheel, take all of the limits off of yourself, and begin to move forward. So you have to have both of them, in my opinion.
Okay. So, and you said in the last couple of years is when you really kind of got real serious and real focused and intentional about where you were trying to go. Did you use mentors then, or did you have coaches, or did you still have both?
I used mentors first, and Ramona, you said a good word. I had to be intentional. Being intentional is, it wasn't that I wasn't not having success in some form or fashion, but I knew that there was something more. Do you understand what I'm saying? That I knew that there was something more. So I had success in my nonprofit business, but I had gotten maybe comfortable there and had really lived an average. But in my spirit, I knew that as I began to get older and mature, that there was much more. So in the last, I would say from 2015 on up until now, I began to seek out coaches and began to listen to tapes and began to read books about, how to move from A to Z, or how to be successful, how to become the architect or be in control of your vision, how to remap, because one thing an architect does is they design, they develop, and they make alterations when necessary. And a lot of times we will set a vision and not think it needs alterations. even in our nonprofit organization, we need to alter some things in order to get the funding that we needed to be successful and to maintain that business, that nonprofit, which is now 31 years old.
Wow, 31 years old. That's awesome to be in business that long and serving the community in your area. And you are in Chicago, correct?
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Chicago. Wow, what an awesome! I'm sure those people absolutely love you there. They miss Miss Sanja when she is not around.
Yes. I'm a pastor, and
Oh.
so really just stepping down. I'm now pastor emeritus, and now I'm training another group of young ministers to really step into their vision. So I'm now an apostolic woman, and I'm just enjoying where God has me right now. I sometimes laugh and say He has a great sense of humor.
So let me get this right. Minister, author, entrepreneur, nonprofit 501c3 founder and owner of business at Matthew's House.
Mm-hmm.
What else do you aspire to do? You've been designing this life. What else do you aspire to do?
I think my next thing is I want to be an international speaker. I want to be on stages right now where I help others begin to map out their journey, architect their life, and really begin to pour back into young people like yourself, pour back into those that aspire to be nonprofit CEOs or individuals that just want to be a business coach, business consultant. I think that's I know that's where I want to go. So right now, my desire and my training is all around being this international speaker that I am in training for. I have several coaches that I'm on several podcasts, and I think that as I mature and move away from the nonprofit, not really just move away, but begin to, I call it downsize or semi-retire or down, I don't know what you call it. But I'm looking forward to being an international speaker to share the knowledge that I have gained over the years with others so that will uplift and help others to up-level where they want to be and not take so long. I want individuals to be able to make that decision and know where they want to go.
So what advice would you give your younger self?
If I would give my younger self advice, oh my God, Mama, you really asked a lot of questions like that. I guess to give my younger self advice is I would definitely say earlier, learn financial literacy. Because we didn't know it, we didn't learn it. Also, I would say despise not small beginnings. And if I really had to give myself is to get a mentor or a coach earlier on in life and really make some plans about where you want to be and at what age you want to be and stick to it. Despise not small beginnings. It's a key. Small beginnings. Those are things that we have to not despise. Get a coach, get a mentor, find some people that are connected to you, that is your sphere of influence, that is going somewhere you want to go. And also don't be afraid to connect with others that may have what you want. Okay. And ask them to coach you or mentor you.
Awesome. You summed up. The next question was what advice you would give to people that are just starting out and trying to figure out life, not only life, but wanting to maneuver in the entrepreneur realm, but don't quite know where to get started at.
Mm-hmm. I would say find your niche. I know my niche, first of all, was nonprofit because my father and parents, while we were in the restaurant, would always feed those less fortunate. They took care of the church pastor. They brought the church a piano. They did everything. So we witnessed that in our life. And our whole family is community orientated and they have a spirit of giving. So our whole family believes in uplifting others. A lot of times we'll uplift others before we uplift ourselves. So our whole family will do that. And and to those that are listening to me and you desire to be an entrepreneur, I wrote a quote the other day that as an entrepreneur, you must entrepreneur your career. And what I mean by that is that everything that you do in your career should align with your entrepreneur goals and life aspirations, meaning that and they should be in line with your goals, your priority, and your vision. If you know that this is a temporary career, you should be thinking about how to entrepreneur your career that aligns with your goals, your priorities, and your vision. And what I mean by that is that many of you may not be ready to move your career. It may be the only source of your support. However, you can entrepreneur your career and set things in motion so that when you are ready and you have the career of your choice, that career should align with where you want to go, your visions, and your priorities.
Advice from an awesome woman who has designed her life, who has put in the work and is now reaping the benefits of all of her hard work. And you can find, where can people find you? If they want to follow you, if they want to get in touch with you with your services, where can they find you?
They can find me right now at, you can email me at admin, ADMIN, at drsanja.com. That's all one word. So that's ADMIN at DRSANJA.com. Or you can find me on Facebook, LinkedIn, Clubhouse, Instagram, and all of the social media networks. I'm on TikTok and all of the social medias network, Twitter Squares. So you can find me there. But if you just need to get in touch with me, you can call me. You can reach me at admin, ADMIN, at drsanja.com.
Amazing. So once again, we thank you for stopping by to talk with us of life designing with Ramona Rogers. And I hope that the listeners can see that they too can have life the way they want it. They can design it the way they want it. So thank you, Dr. Sanja, for stopping in. And you guys out there, remember to believe in yourself, develop your skills, your gifts, and your talents, and then take the necessary actions to fulfill your goals and your dreams. And you can live like Dr. Sanja. So thank you, and we'll see you next time on Life Designing with Ramona.